My mother was a hard woman. I once threw up on the couch. I was so terrified of my mother that I ate it all up. I was a big thinker. Very young age, I thought very big thoughts that frightened her. She was so scared, she grounded me for a year. And when guests were over, I was in the room, door closed, fed under the door kind of deal. She opened it, of course, but it felt like being fed from under the door. When she disciplined me, she would swing till her arm got tired, and that belt with every ounce of vitriol and hate that she's feeling in that moment, I felt. She screamed the most horrible, monstrous things as she did it. She just held me with one arm and swung with the other. So no escape. Now, you feeling sorry for me yet? Don't. I'm not a victim. I'm not broken. And there's a point to this. So, first I'm just going to give you the bad stuff. And then I'm going to give you the other half to that coin. She had a friend over, and she had been drinking, and she said, "Hey, Chris, time to go to bed." Okay, I get up to go to bed. I look at the room, it's like it's really dark. It's very scary in there. And she's like, "Chris, there's monsters in there." She'd push me in the back and push me into the room and then close the door. And I would just scream on the other side of it for an obscene amount of time. And my mom just laughed with her friends and never opened the door. I watched horror movies at the ripe old age of 4. I watched her kill bugs all the time. So then she saw me and used to tell me that, "Oh, I see the antenna's growing. You're turning into a bug." And I just always freaked out. And she'd just laugh with her friends. "Look at Chris, he's turning into a bug." And then she would go get the bug spray and just sit in a chair. And I'd feel horrible. I remember seeing her being carried out of the bar in which she worked by my father. She just drank herself into passing out. She'd come home after a night of drinking, and I would just be up watching a movie in my room. And then she would walk in, come over and hug me, and then just comment how bony I am. So bony. And then she would get up and walk out of the room. She would argue points that she was not correct on because I was a big reader and I loved mentioning new facts to her. Here's one very simple example. Bats have amazing eyesight, Chris. "Mom, actually, did you know bats are blind?" And she would say the exact same thing every time. Doesn't matter what I say, Chris. I say up, you'll say down. I say the sky is blue, you'll say it's purple. And I was like, "No, Mom, you say it's purple." I don't say it's purple. You say it's purple. And Mom, I just read. The fighting got so bad that it was almost every other day she was telling me, "I wish I never had you." At 8 years old, she left my dad for a man who had money. That's the cold hard truth of it. But that man beat me. A lot. And badly. Never really quite going over the edge, though, until one day I'm dressed in my karate outfit. And my dad told me he couldn't do anything to me. So I believed him. And the man was trying to yell at me and make me do something I didn't want to do. And he tried to be scary, and I wasn't scared. And then the man stormed up the stairs and beat the hell out of me. I remember crawling up to my mother, crying, begging her to help me, telling her I couldn't move. And she just knelt down over me and made I don't know what kind of face to describe it as, condescending. "I guess we're not going to talk back anymore, are we?" And then she put me in the car and took me to karate class. 20 minutes later, she got a phone call. They told her she needed to come pick up her son. He's bleeding through his gi. Pictures were taken of my back. That was my mother. I know what you're probably thinking. You're thinking, "Damn, this woman's a fucking monster." And I guess you're also wondering why I'm doing this. Now, granted, everything I just told you is true. Why do I tell you this? Because I have a good relationship with my mom. And I love my mom. That's why. Because I also remember my mother in the stands when I'm sent to the free throw line to literally win the championship game. And basketball meant the world to me. My father wasn't there. My mother was. She showed up. I remember making the game-tying free throw and hearing my mom explode. 8 seconds later, we won that game. And I just remember walking up back to my mom, and she just sobbing. She was so proud of me, and she felt like she had a winner. I remember when my mom had a massive shark on the line. Well, massive to me, it's, 36 inches? It's a pretty big shark. It's not small. And she just handed me the pole. She'd caught enough sharks, she said. Catch yours. That's a mom. I remember a bartender who taught me how to play poker and to be a shark. And I was winning, and I cleaned out a guy once, and he got really angry. He just didn't know how he lost to an 8-year-old. I'm just betting the money that my mom gave me, which was her tips. Pissed as hell that he lost, he grabbed my shirt. All I remember seeing out of the corner of my eye is this tiny little 5'2" woman flying over the bar with a little club in her hand and smashing him right across the face. Think Coyote Ugly. She's kind of like that. And standing up on the bar, pointing at him with the club as this guy fell flat on his back. And she just said, "Get that motherfucker out of here, and I never want to see him in here again." And she took a shot. I remember the fact that she always apologized after saying something horrible. So I just realized she just goes off the whim and says, shit. See how easy of a life lesson that is? After that karate class, I remember my mother sobbing. She didn't know how bad he hit me, so she felt awful. She thought I was faking it. Now, why would she think I was faking it? Because I was being a little bitch and faked all kinds of shit if I didn't want to do it. I was being a bad boy, So she's used to me being like a boy who cried wolf, like, "Oh, I'm sick, I don't want to go to school, don't let me go." And I just really put up a fight. I'd swear up and down, "I'm dying." I know that. And my stepfather, we actually get along all right. My dad stepped in, he straightened things out. That's what fathers are good for. And then the guy never touched me, and then we kind of became friends. I know, it's crazy. Why? It's not because I'm a victim. You think I sound like a victim? Do I sound like a person who's ignoring his past? Or maybe somebody who just decided to have a different perspective on it? If you can't tell by now, she's a shark. I'm attracted to sharks. I just want to make sure whenever you're swimming with one that they realize you're not food, you're another shark. There isn't a day that goes by that I don't think of my mother and I don't think of her fondly. My mom left my father for a man who had money because she was trying to give us a better life. And yes, we were having a good life. We lived a good middle-class life. Then my mom left my dad, poverty next to wealth. And she chose wealth because she wanted the life that everybody wants their kids to have. So simple as that. And that teaches me something else about women. I'm fully aware most women aren't like my mother. But I'm also fully aware that a lot of people hold a lot against their parents when maybe they can just take a different perspective. My mother was a woman who got shot in the face and then gave birth to us. She was raised by a World War II veteran who survived getting shot 6 times charging a hill and took the fucking flag. And then the guy became a cop. Yeah, story old as time. My mother took me shooting for the first time. My mother taught me how to hunt because she knew I wanted to do that. And she knew how because she grew up tough. My mother showed up. She didn't run. And when my mom backhanded me and said something terrible, she always apologized. Yeah, at the end of the day, nobody's perfect. And I sure as shit wasn't. And the truth is, she spanked my ass because I needed a spanking. I crossed the line. I overstepped. I did something wrong. She knew if she let it continue, I would grow up and be a shitty human. And she's like, no, you're not going to be a shitty human. It got to where I could catch my mother's fist, though. Which is another good thing she gave me, cat-like reflexes. I will not be passing on that genetic wonder to my kids, because I don't think I want to be that parent that backhands my kids. But another lesson you learn. You wait till you cooled off, and then you discipline them. At the end of the day, I consider myself truly blessed to have been her son. Because you can also learn what not to do from somebody, and that is an amazing gift. You can learn what you don't want in a partner, and that's an amazing gift. When my mother dressed up, I thought she was the most beautiful woman in the world. And when she dressed down, like a typical day-to-day, I thought she looked like Sarah Connor. If there was a lineup and I had to pick who my next mom would be in the next life, I would pick her again. You only get one mom. Some of us are lucky and we have stepmoms, so we get a second go at it sometimes. But you only get one. And yeah, my mom was a hammer. Sometimes it takes a hammer to deal with the nails. Remember, I'm not innocent. I was a shit. She didn't even see how I wanted to be a filmmaker so that I'd make that movie that she would see next. But what good is life without pursuing something hard? And yeah, I could have chose a safe route, but then I wouldn't have been my mother's son. And I am a shark. I know how to swim in the waters with sharks. Since you've made it to the end of the video, first let me say thank you. None of this would be possible without your support. And to all my subscribers and to those who message me on the side asking for coaching and giving me your encouraging words and telling me your stories. I'm a storyteller. I don't know why you think I can do this, but at the same time, I'm grateful that you tell me your story and that I'll do all I can to help. It's as simple as that. So if you haven't already, please subscribe. On a separate note, tell me what you think of this cartoon thing. I wish I could do a wider shot, but I can't figure out this. What the fuck is wrong with my hips? I got birthing hips, I guess. I don't know. I can't fix this. This cartoon has no choice but to do this. Change some breasts, maybe, but that looks dumb. Anyways, tell me what you think. Think I should just scratch the cartoon? I will if I should.